Hey everybody, I'm sorry I'm a little bit tardy this week. I literally just got back from a baby shower. Went a little bit long. I had a good time. In case you don't know me, I'm Jennifer Moore with the Sewing Report. I help you discover your love of sewing through videos, articles, live shows like this one where we talk about sewing issues and the things that affect us. And this is a special live edition once again. And there's a few things right off the bat that we just really need to get to. Number one, and I've got some picture evidence right here. The number one thing that everybody's been talking about this week is the RompHim. What the hell is this thing? It's a romper for men. Have you ever heard of this? What is up with this trend? So we're going to talk about some fashion trends. Also talk about, in this episode, we're going to talk about sewing and the shout out that it got last night on Saturday Night Live, which was very cool. I was pretty excited about that. Give me 1 second. I'm actually just going to log in over here so I can see some of your comments and everything. And thank you for joining me. I apologize for being tardy today, but I didn't want to miss out on some live events. So I decided to just push the show back this week. And actually, next week I'm going to have to work next weekend. So I'm actually going to be, and I might just, this light over here is a little intense. I have to work next weekend, so I'm actually going to be putting up a pre-taped show just so that there's something here for you guys, so I'm not leaving you hanging. So hopefully that is okay with you, but feel free to let me know in the comments what you think. And again, let's just start talking. Hello, Champagne Twist. All right, Champagne Twist is here. Hopefully this time difference didn't get everybody all screwed up and whatnot. But we are, in case you can't tell, we are live in my bedroom again. Yes, and that door does not have any trim on it. Really long story, but hopefully we'll be getting that back up hopefully soon. So, and I'll be able to see your comments over here too, but it might be a little wonky because you might just kind of see me glance over here every once in a while. But I really wanted to talk about the RompHim, which I've heard literally everybody at work was talking about. I've seen it all over Facebook, and I'll actually log into Facebook while I'm here as well. What do you think of this trend? It's a romper for men. I don't really, there's a Kickstarter for it, and oh, holy cow. So the original goal for this Kickstarter was $10,000. As of right now, that $10,000 has been smashed because $354,000 have been raised for the RompHim Kickstarter, which is the romper for dudes. So is this something that you would buy? Is this something the guys in your life would be interested in? I was curious, I feel like this is kind of a novelty item, guys would buy it once, wear it to a 4th of July party or a cookout or something, just as a novelty. I don't know if I see this trend being more of a long-term thing. So let's take a look at some of the RompHim photos. This guy looks like he's having the time of his life here. Is that some patio furniture or something? All right, Tara says, hell no, my man said turn the channel. That's funny. So your man would not be interested in the RompHim. Is that a safe assumption? So here's some other action photos of the product. And okay, guy on the treadmill using it, because that's what you do. You go to the gym in your romper. This gentleman right here, he looks like he's having a good time. Also, I've noticed not to be... Okay, Zoe says, my best friend would love the RompHim. And Zoe, here's my question. So what is for the guys that are interested in this, have they said what the appeal is? Or what, is it the comfort idea, or is it the idea that it's just one piece of clothing that they don't have to worry about? I don't know. Tara says, that's as bad as the dirty pants at Nordstrom for $400. I saw those, Tara, and I would have to agree with you. That was a pretty ridiculous fashion item, along with those... Didn't they sell jeans with clear knees? There was a clear window and it had a piece of vinyl in it or something. I saw a lot of problems with that, and here's a bunch of guys having a blast in their rompers for men. So, of course, we had to talk about this. This is definitely something we need to discuss. Champagne Twist says, to each to their own, but I'm not sure this is more than a fad. And I would have to agree with you. I think this is sort of sort of like a kitschy item. I don't know. So Zoe says, my best friend is gay. He loves new fads. Okay, so basically your friend likes it because it's kind of the in the moment type of thing. Okay, that makes sense. You know, sort of like with women, we've got the year of the sleeve. We've got the cold shoulder tops. We've got the sleeveless tops. Anything with ruffles. And I've also noticed pom-pom trim, which I've also been using. It seems to be a really hot for this season. I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of trends that are pretty interesting this year. Also stripes, gingham. Gingham seems really huge. I personally have not made any gingham items. It looks cool. I like gingham. I would like to work with gingham, but my fabric stash is out of control, so I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to kind of keep it reined in here so I don't go too crazy. But yeah. Oh, here's the like paint splattered RompHim. Okay. I'm not really sure who this girl is. Okay. Oh, it's a co-founder, Elaine. Okay, so Elaine is partly responsible for this phenomenon with the male rompers. And on the Kickstarter said, is it a romper designed for men? Sure, but it's also pretty damn comfortable, and it may just be the start of a fashion revolution. I do feel like that's a little bit of a big statement to make right now. We'll see how long these things stay popular for. I'm curious. They are $95, but all right, so they're 95 bucks, and I heard some people at work being like, oh, that's really expensive. Well, and yes, compared to something you buy at, you know, Sears or like Forever 21, that is expensive. But one brownie point I would like to give to the RompHim is that they are made in the USA. Under manufacturing location, it says, though we have identified a production partner in Chicago, if this partner is unable to satisfy demand in a timely manner, we may move some of our manufacturing to Los Angeles. Regardless, the product will be made in America. So, you know, I have to say, to the RompHim, I really applaud you for making sure these garments are made in a more ethically responsible way. And I think it's cool that they're made right here in the States. Zoe says, Jennifer, you should make a RompHim for your hubby. Zoe, I did show him the RompHim. I can say James was not interested in a romper for men. So I probably won't be making one for him in the near future. But I did post this on Facebook earlier in the week, and I said something like, it's only a matter of time before someone in the sewing community comes up with a pattern or starts selling a version on Etsy. So if you're an Etsy seller out there, make a RompHim and sell it for like 20 bucks cheaper. Although maybe not. Honestly, that's something I'm generally kind of against because I think it devalues the talent of sewing overall. But sort of like how when those freshly picked baby leather moccasins were real popular, everyone started selling them. I think that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so we've got a comment. My hubby was not interested either. And James not into the RompHim idea, although that was not surprising to me at all. But I think it's an interesting, I think anytime that something sewn, becomes sort of the water cooler thing of the week, I think that's something to take in mind, Kittenish Behavior says, hello. And Kittenish Behavior, by the way, I enjoyed your recent make where you posted some drone video of you in a dress, which was pretty awesome. So I think Kittenish Behavior, that says to me, I need to step it up a few notches. I do not have a drone, but maybe I'll try to figure that out. So if you haven't checked out Kittenish Behavior, her channel is awesome, and I love her personality. She's just very she's just very sassy and hilarious. Okay, so Kittenish Behavior says, that was all news someone. Hey, Linda from Montana. And if you are watching today, feel free to show me some love. Let me know where you're watching from, what you're doing this fine weekend, and be sure to hit that like button so I know that people are actually watching besides me. Tara says, that's it. I'm making man leggings. Would you call them mannings? Like meggings? I don't know. So is this a new thing where we're taking fashion trends for women and then just translating them to men? Also, we should make the guys some sleeveless, some off-the-shoulder tops and cold shoulder tops for men. That would be kind of awesome. So yeah, that's a trend that I just think this is interesting. Oh, and everything I'm talking about in this show, I'm linking in the description box. So I have linked to a couple stories about the RompHim, the Kickstarter, if you're interested in that. I'm also linking to some other 2017 fashion trends that I've been seeing. The one trend that I really, well actually there's two trends that I really like. I love Ruffles. So I'm definitely going, in fact the dress I'm wearing today incorporates some ruffles. This is the one I wore to the baby shower. Alright, so this is Ruffles. Sorry, I don't want to show you any leg. But this is one. This is the Rebecca Schiff dress by Sis Boom Patterns, and it's in Jennifer Paganelli fabric. Zoe says, yes. Linda, I've been seeing guys wear capri or crop length pants. And Pigsty's here. Melinda, hello from, is it Rehoboth Beach? I never knew how to pronounce that, and I always feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. Delaware. But Melinda, when I was little, my grandma actually gave me a Rehoboth Beach t-shirt, I think from one of her vacations. So it was one of my favorite shirts for a long time because it was like pink and it had really cool like pastel letters on it. And it had like an Adirondack chair. And in case you don't know, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, which is like the farthest place from the beach. And yeah, we didn't have, I wish I'd grown up somewhere like sunny and tropical and cool, but and Buffalo is known for chicken wings, a lot of losing sports teams, and really, really, really like cold AF weather. Like, all right, Champagne Twist says, why can't they just call it an all-in-one rather than referring to the item as for men? Oh, and Melinda, thank you for the compliment on the dress. And I think that's a good question. Why not just make rompers? Rompers for everybody. It does seem a little weird that they're distinguishing it from romper to RompHim. Like, I don't know, but I guess you know what though? It worked because this product has gone viral. So obviously what they were doing was trying to play on that, and they were successful because everybody knows about this now. Like it was mentioned on Saturday Night Live. I've seen so many stories about it. You cannot escape the romper for guys. Okay, so hobo. So Rehoboth Beach? Wait. Rehoboth Beach? I don't know. And I'm really bad at pronunciation, so whenever I have to say something that's like a place I've never heard of, it's always a disaster. So yeah, so there's a romper for guys, and this, okay, yeah, so there's these gentlemen also sporting the rompers. Okay, oh, this is apparently a shout out to James Bond, who apparently was like the OG for RompHims. So they've been doing that. But yes, there's a lot of trends, but the trends that I personally am really looking forward to incorporating into my handmade wardrobe are definitely ruffles. In fact, I have plans to take some patterns and add ruffle sleeves and ruffle details to them. So that's something I would definitely like to do this summer. And I'm also really, I'm a really big fan of like interesting sleeves. Like they are everywhere. Like there's a few McCall patterns that are really incorporating sleeves. I've seen, like, I just think sleeve detailing is so interesting. And coincidentally, I took this like one-day workshop locally here, and it was about how to alter commercial patterns to do different sleeves. So I feel like I'm kind of well equipped to do it now, I suppose. So hopefully, okay, so Linda, yeah, rompers. Linda says, okay, we need to read a comment from Linda. Rompers are great until you need to use the bathroom. That is a very, very valid point. Oh, and there was, you know what? I forgot. I should have put this in the, description box, but I saw a product not a couple days ago, but like last week on Shark Tank called, Linda, you would appreciate it. It's called the Bridal Buddy. Just Google Bridal Buddy. And it's this product that's supposed to be for brides. I personally have never worn a wedding dress. I am married, but I've never worn a wedding dress. And you're supposed to put this, sewn item on under the dress, and then it's like a net for your dress. So it's got like little handle sleeves on it. So you're supposed to kind of draw it up like a drawstring / net over the dress, hook it to your shoulders, and that's supposed to make it easier to use the bathroom on your wedding day, which I thought was a pretty ingenious product for people in that situation. All right, Melinda says, working on an off-the-shoulder top with recycled tops from thrift stores. Love cool sleeves. Yes, and Melinda, that I'm down with the sleeves. I am So I'm really trying to think of ways I can take patterns I already have so I don't have to buy new ones and try to figure out how I can hack them. In fact, I've been trying to think of, there's a few top patterns I have that would be easy to add a gathered skirt to it, so I could make a dress out of it, just because then I would be able to, you know, have that top and then, you know, make a dress without buying a new pattern. So there's that. Also, we need to talk about Saturday Night Live. If you're not in the States, I'm not sure, are you able to watch Saturday Night Live on YouTube? From what I understand, like I have a friend in Canada and he says that sometimes, like depending on where he's logged in from on his browser, it's like regional, so some people might have trouble watching Saturday Night Live in other countries. Okay, we got a couple other comments I'll read. For years, trying to learn to make little girls' summer dresses, but can't pass the difficulty of pattern. Would you recommend? No classes for that where I live. Actually, to your point, I actually bought some patterns from an indie pattern company called Fresh Stitch Patterns. Just get in your computer and Google that, Fresh Stitch Patterns, and I recently made something called the Playgroup dress, and I'll show you a picture of it. This was one of the gifts I gave at the baby shower today. Okay, Champagne Twist says, daisies are going to be huge in spring and summer, but you didn't hear that from me. Daisies, that is an interesting one to watch. So, okay, so I'll show you some pictures of the dress I made. This is a kid's dress, and I do like making children's clothes. Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot. Because I just got home and came up here, I'm sorry, guys, I don't have the prom mug this week because I just came right upstairs. So, I dropped the ball on that. All right, so to the gal that was interested in making children's dresses, this is a dress I made for a little girl, and super cute pattern, pretty easy to make, and the pattern is pretty cheap. So go to Fresh Stitch Patterns, just look them up. And this lady was having a sale on her patterns, so they were only $1 each. So I bought like 4 children's patterns just because I figured at some point I would have to be making children's clothes as gifts for somebody. They also have really cute baby romper patterns. But what I like about this dress was that it had like these little side accents of color, so it's a little more color blocked, and I thought that added some detail, some interesting detail to the dress. I also, of course, added pom-pom trim because how could I not? And it really went with it. But I will be posting pictures, more pictures later this week on Instagram. And believe it or not, guys, I've actually been blogging. I did a blog post, just a straight up blog post this morning at sewingreport.com if you're interested in looking at it. I have a bunch of things that I've made in the past, like last year, that I just didn't have very good pictures of. Like I made this outfit it's like a hot pink outfit, and I didn't have any good photos. So James and I were somewhere yesterday to meet some people, and before we met up with them, we took some pictures in Midtown Atlanta, and I'm not gonna lie, I think they turned out pretty good. I did post a few of them on Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, you can check them out here. And I've changed my profile picture everywhere to one of the new photos that I think looks a little more updated. So I posted a couple pictures of my photo shoot there, and then I literally, which is weird because I've been mostly vlogging and not doing a lot of I've been mostly vlogging and not doing a lot of blogging, but I actually did like just a regular blog with no video today, which felt kind of weird. But I think I might do one for this little girl's dress I made, just because I didn't shoot video of it, but I got some decent pictures of it, and I think it's a really cool pattern. So here, I'll show you the blog post. Okay, where are you? And yes, after this, I promise we will get to The Rock on Saturday Night Live, because we totally have to talk about this. So yeah, so here are some of the pictures that we took, and then I detail kind of what the patterns are and what fabrics I used. And then I also took a few photos of some of the purses I've made. So to the gal who wants the little girl's dress, I will definitely do a blog post, post all the photos. It was actually a really easy pattern, and the bodice is lined, so you didn't have to worry about doing so one of the things I don't like about, like, say, dresses like this, is that I have to do bias binding for the sleeves, and I really, that's like one of my least favorite things to do. So the fact that the bodice of that girl's dress was lined made it a lot easier for me to work with. So I'm a fan of anything that's lined, and I'm trying to incorporate more lined garments into my own wardrobe just because I think that'll help up my skill level for sewing. Yes, so I will be posting the pictures, and definitely if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm at Sewing Report, and I'll also be posting some pictures there as well. So Melinda says, my daughter is 22, and I used to make her a dress a day, but not anymore. Yeah, making a dress for a 22-year-old can be a little more complicated because with kids' clothes, you know, the fit doesn't matter. They don't have boobs. You know, little girls don't have chesticles yet, so they don't have to worry about that. Kiddish Behavior says, I love lined garments. Facings annoy me. You're right. Facings kind of annoy me too, although I don't know. I'm having trouble really getting my mind around the lining. There's so many techniques used in doing the linings that I just feel sometimes it can be a little intimidating. So I end up taking the easy way out, which is the facing, which I shouldn't, but that's where I'm at right now. But we totally need to talk about The Rock on Saturday Night Live. Dwayne Johnson, otherwise known as The Rock, or, you know, I don't know, possibly the most like physically fit person on the planet. He did this sketch last night that was a shout out to sewing, specifically sewing, not even in a general sense, but in a very specific sense. And I posted some clips on my Instagram stories last night while it was happening because I was like, oh, I cannot believe this. So the premise of the sketch was that he is this superhero named Scorpio. And Scorpio, I don't know if it was like a Lois Lane type chick, but he's at this woman's office with her and her office mates who are all women, and they don't really care about the superhero part. They're just so distracted by the fact that he designs his own costumes and sewed his own clothing. So Champagne Twist says, the advantage of facings are they use less fabric, more cost effective, but I agree, I prefer full lining. And if anyone has any good lining tips for me, please feel free to throw them out there at me too. All right, so Kittenish Behavior says, I agree. Have you seen the Sewaholic Can't Dress Sew Along? There's a really good description of inserting a lining using your machine with no slip stitching. I use that method all the time right now. I'm going to have to look that up because, the linings, for some reason, I just can't get my mind around it, and I just have trouble. So, yes, Kittenish Behavior, I don't know if you're able to watch the SNL link on YouTube, but it's in the description box. So, but I know sometimes I hear that regionally people have trouble watching those clips if they're not in the States. I don't know if that's a problem for you, but hopefully you can watch it because that Scorpio sketch was amazing. And it was awesome because at one point he's like, oh, I made a winter capelet for winter missions. Would you like to see it? And all the women are like, oh my gosh, yes. All right, Kiddish Behavior. Oh, and it's in the description box, so you don't even have to go anywhere to find it. Saturday Night Live posts a lot of their sketches on YouTube. So as long as you can watch the YouTube link, you should be good because the sketch was hilarious. So yeah, at one point he's like, I made a winter capelet for winter missions. Would you like to see it? And they're like, oh yeah. And then this lady's like, how does it not crease at the seams? And he's like, oh, that's because I cut it on the bias. So they actually use some real sewing terminology, and my guess is that I'm sure Saturday Night Live employs quite a few seamstresses and costumers on the show. So they actually I'm going to guess they probably got that information from those people. Linda says you can also go to the SNL website and see all the skits as well. Linda, that is correct. Although I will say, though, SNL is really good about putting all the good skits on YouTube. So I sort of like that it's all in one place, too. So that kind of makes it convenient for me just because, I don't know, I just like being on YouTube. Obviously, I do YouTube, and I enjoy it. I enjoy watching all kinds of channels. So I'm a big YouTube fan. And that's where I tend to watch all of my stuff. But Saturday Night Live does have a lot of those things on their YouTube channel, and I've also linked it in the description box. It's called Scorpio SNL Sketch starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And fun fact for you guys, I actually met him once in person, and he was a really super nice guy. He seems nice, and he seems very down to earth in interviews and whenever you see him like promoting movies and stuff. But I can personally test that meeting him up close and personal, he was just as nice, just as friendly, really cool guy. And he was very, like, soft-spoken. Like, he's not a loud, bombastic guy. Like, in some of the sketches, obviously, he needs to be, or some of his acting roles, but, he just seemed like such a gentle soul. Heidi says, just saw that skit, hilarious. I know, I almost started shouting when I saw that. I was so excited. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. I also kind of posted some of my reactions on Instagram in the story section, just because I thought everyone in the sewing community needs to know about this. This is awesome. But yeah, so, you know, the reason I met, and I'll kind of explain how I met this guy. My old job, my background is as a television producer, and at a few of my previous jobs, I don't know, my role just involved working with celebrities. Like one job I had, I produced celebrity interviews and entertainment pieces. And then for a while, I actually worked at the Home Shopping Network for several months, and I worked with celebrities there. And then at another job I had, I was a planner, so I would end up booking a lot of segments for our morning show. And sometimes we would have legitimate celebrities that were willing to come in on like a Friday or a Saturday at some weird time, you know, to come do an interview. And a lot of the interviews we did were pre-taped. So we met The Rock. That was actually one of my first work assignments, actually working with a celebrity. Like, he was one of the first celebrities I ever met. He was opening a ride at Universal Studios. It was like some sort of like movie. It was some sort of like natural disaster type ride. But what Universal does and other parks do is they'll make some new ride and put a celebrity's face on it. And then the celebrity, like Brendan Fraser has done them, some Jimmy Fallon, I think. So then the celebrity for the opening, they'll come and promote the ride. So we went to Universal Studios so The Rock could promote his new ride. This was a really long time ago. This was 10 years ago. I can't believe I've been doing this that long, but I have. But he was a really cool guy, and you know, and I've been really excited because he's been doing so well professionally. He's been in so many movies, and he seems like a nice guy. Because you hear about celebrities, some of them don't always seem super nice. Or some of them kind of seem like they're probably demanding in real life. But in real life, The Rock was a totally cool guy. So that is my Rock story. All right. Oh, Kittenish Behavior says, that link works. I'll be back in 4 minutes. All right. Well, Kittenish Behavior, we will be here for you. Heidi says he's one of my favorites, and yeah, he's actually a very good comedic actor. And actually, I saw one of his recent movies with Kevin Hart called like Central Intelligence, and it was actually pretty funny. So Zoe says, one of my friends has the biggest crush on The Rock. She even got a full-size poster one year and took him as her date to a Christmas party. Zoe, that's awesome. She should totally like try to Instagram that. She should definitely send a picture to him. He seems like the type that would respond back, or at least have an assistant respond back, because that's pretty cool. That's very cool. So yeah, he seemed like a very nice guy. So yeah, so that is my Rock celebrity story. I've got more too, but I don't want to bore you guys with it. So let's move on, and next I want to talk a little bit about sewing organization. So I've been really trying to kind of document more of my sewing projects just so that I don't forget about them, because it's very easy to forget about what you've made, not be able to keep track of your fabrics. So I've got a link in the description box for this too, but I found these really cool free printables on Pinterest, and they're to help document your sewing projects. So I'll show you one of mine. This is actually for the Rebecca Schiff dress that I'm wearing. So it's, you know, and again, I've got a LaserJet printer, so that's why it's not in color, but you can detail like the details, pattern, fabrics you used, fabric sources, what kind of thread you used, and notes, and then you can put some swatches down. I just glued these on with Elmer's washable school glue, and so I just cut them using pinking shears, and I just used scraps. But I've been starting to make these for all of my projects just to keep track of what I'm doing, and I really like these, so I'm going to continue doing these for future projects. And this is actually for the dress that I made for the little girl. So yeah, so these printables are pretty cool, and you can also So I downloaded a few different ones. I downloaded the Sewing Projects one, and then I also downloaded, this lady, oh, and she's got one for like knitting projects, crocheting projects. This is to keep track of your fabric inventory. So it's, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 3-hole punch. So Heidi says I take pictures after I make something, and then I get bogged down in deciding how to journal or organize projects. And that is true. And Heidi, I'm trying to do better at photographing all of my makes, just so that I've got documentation of them, because I've given some gifts away and I didn't take any photos of them. And I think that's, I'm kicking myself now. Kittenish Behavior, are you back? Okay, she is, and she's really enjoying that SNL sketch. And Kittenish Behavior, thank you for joining us, because I think, isn't it kind of late in the UK, I think? Aren't you guys like 5 or 6 hours ahead? So, I mean, that's, you're definitely a trooper. And yeah, and again, I apologize to you guys, because we did have to push it back today, and then I was late getting home. Atlanta traffic is no joke. All of those rumors are true. Kittenish Behavior says it is 10:30 p.m. Woo! Well, thank you. I'm honored that you are taking time out of your evening to join me in my bedroom talking about random stuff. So yeah, so this is a sheet, and it just says name, so the name of the fabric purchased from and what you paid for it. And I think this is actually a pretty good thing for me to keep track of too, because sometimes I can't remember what price I paid for fabric. Some fabrics, I will say I've gotten some really good deals on them. So I definitely want to kind of keep these records. So I'm gonna take my 3-hole punch and then punch holes in these and then put them in a binder, and hopefully I can be a little more organized. Heidi says, I've been watching Kittenish Behavior, Me Made May vlogs. Yes, and she is, I just love her personality. And I don't know, I personally, like, when I'm watching other YouTubers, I like people who seem relatable. And when someone seems too perfect or like they have it too together, I don't really want to watch them. All right, Zoed Vega says, I have a loose leaf binder for quilt printable patterns and do attach notes and fabric scraps and reminder of do's and don'ts as record keeping. That is a good idea. And Kittenish Behavior says, I need to organize my stash, but it's so huge it could take days. I feel you on that, girl. I do. And that's kind of why I'm trying not to buy any new fabric right now, because I just think that I'm at the point where I really need to use what I have, use more of what I have, and try not to buy as much stuff. So I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot of haul videos for the rest of the year. Hopefully more sewing make videos, so that I'm actually using this stuff up. So that's where I'm trying to go. But, so yeah, this has been a really random show. Oh, and you know what? One other thing I do want to talk about, but I didn't, I'm sorry guys, I didn't link this in here because, I don't know, I guess I'm just not as on top of this. But yesterday I posted on Instagram this picture. And Kittenish Behavior says, same here, but I keep seeing so many beautiful new fabrics keep coming up on my Instagram feed, and that's so true. Oh, excuse me. It happens to me, like, all the time. And then you're like, well, this new fabric is so much better than the stuff I have, even though I'm sure the stuff we have is totally fine. But I posted this picture yesterday of Kate Middleton at her sister Pippa's wedding. And I want to see what you guys think of this dress. I've heard some very mixed opinions. This is a Dusty Rose Alexander McQueen dress. And I don't know what fabric this is. It kind of looks like it's like silk, or it definitely looks like it's silk to me. I'm sure you guys have all seen this photo, but I've heard some feedback like maybe it makes her look too old or something. But then I was reading an article that said that Kate really didn't want to upstage her sister Pippa, so that's why she chose something that's a little more like understated, which I think is actually a very gracious thing of her to do on her sister's wedding day. But I actually like the dress, and I put this on Instagram yesterday, and I said, hey, is there a pattern that's like this? And to you guys who wrote back with suggestions, thank you very much. Apparently, By Hand London has a very similar dress called Alix, A-L-I-X. And apparently this is very much like this dress. The other dress that I personally really like that Emily Hallman has made a bunch of times that's sort of similar to this in the sleeves is, I think, the Vogue 8825, and it's supposed to be made out of a knit fabric. And that one looks pretty cool too. So I actually would be interested in getting a similar dress, or at least try to make a similar dress out of this like nice dusty rose slash beige fabric. So I don't know, what do you guys think of for this dress? So Kiddish Behavior says, I thought she looked beautiful and very right about not upstaging her sister. That is so lovely of her. And exactly, like, I mean, if she showed up in like some like, you know, slinky red cocktail dress, a lot of attention would have been lavished on Kate when really it was her sister's big day. And let me find a picture of Pippa because I thought Pippa's dress was gorgeous. And I really loved the neckline and the sleeves. I thought it was very cool, very modest. And I thought it was just a very, I just really thought it was a very like classy dress. That's what I would say. It's very classy, and she looked so, she just looked so grown up, and I don't know, it was just very cute. So let me find a picture of Pippa's dress. I thought everybody at the wedding looked really good. So here's a picture I found comparing Kate and Pippa's dresses. They both chose like this, like I think they're Giles Deacon, or, oh no, sorry. Kate's is Sarah Burton for Alexander McQueen, who also designed her Dusty Rose dress. And Pippa's dress is Giles Deacon. And I just thought Pippa's dress looked so pretty. I just love all the lace detailing. And another thing that I have not ever done is made a lace dress. And I would be interested. I need to kind of do more research on like whether I should underline it or line it or what I need to do. But I would actually really be interested in trying to make some sort of lace dress. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, check out this lace detail. Oh my gosh, I'm literally dying over how pretty she looks and how elegant this dress is, but it really worked for her. And yeah, so I agree. So Zoid says that dress is lovely and very lovely of Kate. She's a very classy lady. And I think that's what they scream. These people scream class. They don't look like these people don't look like they've ever gone to the grocery store in sweatpants like me. So, I feel like they're a little more aspirational, but they seem like nice people. Like, I feel like if I met Pippa Middleton or Kate Middleton at, like, the grocery store, if they ever went to the grocery store, I think they would be cool. And they would at least be nice and polite to you, even if they thought you were a total weirdo. So, I think they would be all right, but I really want to know if you've made a dress like this with sleeves and with a neckline like that. Oh my gosh, that is just so gorgeous. I really want to learn more about sewing with lace because it is just so pretty. So yeah. But anyways, what do you guys think? Did you watch I personally didn't watch the wedding. I didn't watch like any of the coverage of it. I just saw photos afterwards. But I don't know, like, what out of this, all right, so out of everything crazy that's been going on this week, what trend, like, what fashion trend stuck out in your mind the most? Like, was it the RompHim? Is it the whole thing with the sleeves? Is it the almost not quite royal wedding? I'm just curious because I don't know, there's been so much going on this week with fashion that I just don't, like, I was like, every time I saw another one of these stories, I was like, you know, I really want to talk about this on the show. I want to talk about that on the show. And then last night at like midnight, I saw that SNL Scorpio sketch with The Rock, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And I was just I was pretty excited. So I knew I wanted to add that as well. But again, thank you guys for joining me. I know it's been a little later today. And for all of you guys in the UK or from a time zone that's so not near here, oh my gosh, Linda, The Rock's back cutout, that was hilarious. And you can see how ripped that guy is. Like, he's just, I don't know how you get into that good a physical condition, but I would want someone like that to be my personal trainer because my back and my stomach does not look like that guy's at all. So I should probably maybe start following him on Instagram just to see what his workout routine is like. I don't know. So Heidi says, I hardly ever pay attention to what's in fashion. It makes me crazy. You know what? That's a fair point, Heidi. And Zoe says she noticed his butt. Yeah, I mean, that guy, like, he's just like, I mean, I don't want to objectify someone, but that guy, he definitely takes very good care of his personal appearance. I will say that. Zoe says, it does seem fashion does not know where to go. Every decade tries to modernize the last in certain instances. That's very true. And I do have an announcement. Again, I think I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but next weekend I've got to work. I'm sorry, guys. And, okay. And so I'm going to be putting up a pre-taped show, but it's going to be something that lends itself to conversation. So it's going to be sort of like this, where we talk about a certain topic, and then I want to open it up to you guys to really start. I want us to have some conversations, whether it be live or whether it be in the comments. I think this is a really good place for, you know, I really feel like the crowd in this little forum here has been we've all been just had a lot to share, and I don't know, it's been fun for me. So hopefully it's fun for you as well. Kittenish Behavior says, I agree, Heidi. I tend to just make things that suit my shape these days. And if it's in fashion, that's a bonus. I think that's another good point there. But I'm going to log off soon because I'm going to try to get some video stuff ready for next week. And I'm also going to be editing my pre-taped show. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise I don't normally work on Sundays, but sometimes that's required. And Heidi says, being short, it's hard to find something that fits. Heidi, I feel you. I'm not super tall either. And I've got kind of a weird body type. But, you know, this has been a lot of fun. And next week, there will be a video posted. So next week, look for a video posted at 3 p.m. And that will be our substitute live show. It's going to be a pre-taped live show. So anyways, thank you guys so much for joining me. And I will see you guys all in a couple weeks. Well, you'll see me next week, but we'll really get to talk in 2 weeks from now when we're back with the live show. So I will see you guys later. Oh, and Kiddish Behavior says, thank you for hosting this evening. It's been lovely. It's been lovely talking to you guys. This is honestly a lot of fun. And even though this set right now is kind of a little bit low budget, we're making it work. So anyways, I will see you guys in a couple weeks. But next week, you will definitely be getting a video in lieu of the live show. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.